noise!
Hello and welcome to another edition of Truth and Rhythm. Brought to you by funkinstuff.net, this is the interview show that gets deep in the pocket with contemporary music's foremost masters of the groove. I am your host, Scott Dr. GX Goldfine, musicologist, creative arts journalist, and multimedia pro. Whether you're watching the video version of this show or the audio-only podcast version, I thank you so much for your continued interest and support in this show. If you enjoy this programming, there are several ways to help support Truth and Rhythm, as well as contribute to further enhancements and expansion, plus get some sweet perks and rewards in the process. First, subscribe to the Funkin' Stuff channel on YouTube, which is where Truth and Rhythm lives, and be an advocate by spreading the word among fellow funk, jazz, and R&B music lovers. Second, join Truth and Rhythm's new membership program through Patreon, which features 3 tiers for truth believers, truth seekers, and truth crusaders. You can also submit a direct donation to the cause anytime at funkinstuff.net. At that site, which is loaded with awesome content, you can also purchase the book Everything's on the One, The First Guide of Funk. Shop for official Truth and Rhythm and Funkin' Stuff merchandise, and use the Amazon links for all of your online purchases, which allocates a percentage to this show. Sponsorship opportunities are available as well. Contact me directly at scottg@funkinstuff.net. For those of you who go the extra step in supporting the show, you have my heartfelt gratitude for allowing us to continue to shine the light on those special artists whose quest is to find truth in rhythm. Hey, before we get started with today's show, I just want to draw your attention to new merchandise. Funkin' Stuff and Truth and Rhythm designs are in, and they look pretty darn cool. So show your support, help support the program, and show off some stylish merchandise and apparel. Only at the Funkin' Stuff store. I'm thrilled to welcome to the Truth and Rhythm Mothership blues rock guitar phenom, singer, and composer Pinnick Gales. Since bursting onto the scene as a 16-year-old prodigy as part of the Pinnick Gales Band's self-titled 1991 debut album, the left-handed player has gone on to release 11 more studio albums, all of them overflowing with soaring riffs and blistering solos that have distinguished him as one of the top guitarists of his generation. Having toured almost continuously for several years, leading up to the pandemic. As his additional live releases document, Gales also consistently lights the stage afire. Besides his own releases, his equally worthwhile side projects include the hard-rocking Pinnick Gales Pridgen, the jazzy Hendrix Gales Trio, Supersonic Blues Machine, experienced Hendrix Tours, and guest spots on records with fDeluxe, Bootsy Collins, and Jellybean Johnson, among others. His next album, due out later this year, is produced by fellow blues rock guitar shredder Joe Bonamassa. Eric, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you for having me, man. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So good to see you out there in the great outdoors.
Yeah, man, just taking in a little bit of this day. It's a little gloomy, but it's all right.
Yeah, so, I'm also down the road a bit in North Carolina, so, we're sort of neighbors, and living in North Carolina, I get the great pleasure of having a lot of opportunities to see you play out and about, so.
Oh, wow. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you remember, but I have, gone to see you backstage several times, and I brought my son to meet you, and one of those times he told you that, you were a bigger hero to him than Michael Jackson, and so maybe you remember that. I don't know.
I think I remember that. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
It was humbling to hear then, and still humbling to hear now. So it's
Yeah, and I've been a
pretty amazing.
fan since the very beginning. I have your whole catalog here, including,
Oh wow,
and this was from 1991 when I got it. So
91. Yeah, man.
yeah, so glad you're still at it. I know it's been a long, interesting road to say the least. And
Mm.
so you were just down in Florida. I know. How did that go?
It went great, man. We had 4 shows down there, and to be on stage again was it was exhilarating, and it's good to see things are trying to start happening again for artists and musicians, and trying to just siphon back into life as we once knew it a little bit, and this weekend was a great first time back out, and from what I understand, more dates are being added to the schedule, and things are trying to see if they can go forth, and it's seeming like some of them are. We look forward to coming to a place near anyone that we can get to.
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, everybody's missing out with you not being on the stage for all this time. So glad to have you back. I have so many questions I'd like to ask you, but I'm going to try to be considerate of your time. Um, what was it like growing up, Eric, in a household with all of those brothers playing guitar and left-handed guitar, no less? What was that like?
Man, it was amazing. I wouldn't have wished for a better upraising. Music was always played some kind of way house. I grew up in the church, and so a lot of gospel was prominent, and other styles and types of music begin to coming to my knowledge, through my brothers Eugene and Manuel and all my brothers. So, being the youngest, I kind of pulled from all of them, and uncles, aunties, everything. So it was just a lot of music around the house, and it was a sight to see.
You know, was there any point where any of you guys tried to play more conventionally, or did you all just go straight to the style that you got?
Oh no, we just this is how we play. I mean, and the guitar was never placed into my hand. I picked it up that way, without even really a knowledge that was how my brothers were playing. I saw it, but it just didn't register to me that it was, a right or wrong way to play. And we all were left-handed, so. But me and my brother Eugene, right-handed, and little Jimmy wrote left-handed. So it was a complex concoction, if you will, but it worked.
Yeah, it definitely works. Do you think that style lends itself to just a more dynamic or explosive sound?
I don't know. That's in the eye of the beholder. I wouldn't know. You know, uh, I would see percent of the people I learned from were right-handed players. So that is where I sat down and just figured out. The drive from the inspiration and being inspired by the stuff that I heard didn't matter to me whether they were right-handed or playing a different way or playing in their laps or anything like that. I know I just was so inspired that I wanted to pick up stuff that I was being inspired by note for note, and by any means, that's what I set out to do. So then that turned into morphing and acquired into my own way, and I guess off the bat it was my own way because it was different from the way that I learned it from the people that were playing the other way. So it just kept going forward, and some say that there's a different sort of expression or different ways that dynamically things come out of left-handed players. Yeah, it can be, but for me, it's just normal everyday thing. So I just try to move by what inspires me and keep going forward, and that seems to be a pretty decent working concept for me.
Yeah, well, your playing is so emotional and dynamic and also explosive. Where do you draw from to get that intensity of where you can, take it really deep and then sort of have this eruption of emotion through your fingers in the playing?
Well, I think a lot of that entails from just life, man. You know, life and things that I, have went through, carried myself through, and managed to come out the other side. And a lot of it is just reflecting back. And when I do, then the overwhelming range of emotion comes through, and it just can't help but come out through the playing. And I'm a 1,000% emotionally driven player, so that is definitely part of the, I want to say, genetic build and makeup for me. I may be even channeling some things that's before my time. Uh, and I can just tell you that there's a lot of things that, that may pass by the screen that I'm visibly looking at, but musically displaying that, is a knowledge bowl of a lot of things, and a lot of it, again, I think that may precede my 46 years of living. I think that there's things that I'm playing from and about that goes way back before me, uh, you know, and I can't help it, and nor do I try to help it. Uh, it's something that I gain a fulfilling sort of sensation from during and after a performance that it's just kind of hard to explain. If at the most microscopic level that I'm able to translate that to the audience or the listener that's watching the show through the emotion and through the playing that I'm doing, then that's the goal that I aim to do, and it seems to has been working a little bit.
You function in a vessel in that way, right? I mean, have it come through you.
I
So
do.
what typically, if there is a typical, kind of goes through your mind, when you're in the midst of a blistering emotional solo on stage, say?
A lot. Generally, it comes from point of pain. To be honest with you, it's an intense point of pain, and that could come from the death of people that's been close to me. You know, knowing that I damn near was dead a few times, but I'm still here. Just a lot of things, man. A lot of things. And again, going back to playing and maybe kindling spirits that's pre my time. I could be channeling some of the oppression. You know what I mean? I could be channeling some of the things that you know people of color and other people under the thumb had to endure and had to deal with uh, in many of the years. A lot of those unspoken about a lot of times in a lot of interviews about the people that paved the way for the opportunity to just be able to freely play in a venue without any discrimination. To freely be able to stay in a hotel that's right near the venue and not be ridiculed about it or told that you can't. It's those type of things, that predates me. I mean, I can't say I've personally went through that, but I feel like things of that type nature is stuff that I'm playing explosively out of. And I do that in a way by telling that oppression. I do that by telling that depression. I do that by telling things that has a stranglehold and have had a stranglehold for I don't know how long. That's my way of telling it that I'm busting out of the seams, and there's no holding me back from any of that because now I can play about it and I can play through it. There's no getting around it. There, you can't go under it, you can't go over, can't go beside it. I have to play through it. So when I play through it, then the explosiveness comes out.
Yeah, I get all that, man. It all comes through. You really channel all that. And, for me, I mean, you're one of my favorite players of all time. And I come from a place of,
Oh, thank you.
deep blues, deep funk.
Hmm.
And,
Hmm.
coming from Memphis like you did and taking in all those diverse influences musically, can you talk a little bit about how obviously blues is big in there, but also funk? What has funk meant to you, and how has that kind of come through what you do?
I say funk to me is equally as important as a blues. I mean, all of the styles that I like to tiptoe in and around, all of them are highly equally as important. Funk, blues, rock, gospel, jazz, classical. all of that country western, all that plays a part in the bag of gumbo that I like to dip my spoon into. And funk is one of the, ain't nothing like a good funk groove, man. You can ride at some funk for about 3 4 hours on the same groove, and it never gets old. So there are elements of funk that is incorporated into my life show, and then there's no telling when it's going to surface. That's the thing about being such a free spirit when it comes to doing live shows, that it just comes when it comes, and I try my best to keep up with you know how the spirit is flowing. You know what I mean? And uh, and therein talking about a spirit, and that is how sometimes I wound up surprising myself on stage with things that I do, because I have no idea what I'm going to do prior to doing it. So sometimes I'm caught off guard, and I'm like, "Wow, man, what the world?" So it's no better feeling to me to play from that type of vantage point, that I am following something that at the point in time only I can see, and I do my sometimes some things slip away that the audience would never know about. But as I get more honed into my craft, I try to free flowing spirit so generously chooses to be in allow me to be in its company when we embrace performing live.
You've played with such an incredible array of different musicians and different, from all genres, and different cover tunes that you've chosen to do through the years. It's incredible range. And I've been curious, how you've connected with a lot of those guys, and if we talk, continuing on the funk side, I mentioned at the outset about people like Bootsy and people like fDeluxe, or the Minneapolis scene, you're on Jellybean Johnson's record. How have you made some of those connections?
Just through the industry, man. I've been in this game for over 30 years, man. So you acquire relationships, and I actually used to live in Minnesota for a little while. So some of it came there, but you acquire quite a few relationships throughout the years of in my instance, of people that I admire and highly inspired by, and to have the opportunity to do some sort of work with them always brings a joy to my face. But it's generally come about by just the years in the game, man, that has caused I guess a small notoriety, if you will, amongst peers and people that I respect, and you know I'm really enamored to be able to partner up with and do some things. And of course, the time comes for me to jump on something, and I want to do it. I'm going to do it, and I've been very privileged to be a part of a lot of different things, and neither one is any less important than the other to me.
There's so many great clips of you on YouTube. I mean, thank goodness for YouTube that you can reach so many people through that vehicle now, and
Hmm.
can see you do a lot of things that probably it's the only time you've ever done it. And you may never do it again, right? It's just a moment in time.
Right,
And,
right.
and I happen to a couple examples of that. I happen to catch you down south, not too far from here, doing Maggot Brain, and
Haha,
I had never heard
I
you do
did.
Funkadelic before.
Yeah, yeah. I was sitting in with Sam Robinson from Marvelous Function, and they told me, man, yeah, we're gonna do Maggot Brain. You want to set in on that? I was like, cool. Yeah, I think that's the only time I ever did that song before. Iconic song, written by iconic people, iconic players on it. And to again, that was just a free flowing. I was going with the vibe down there in Charleston, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Um, it was a good time though, man. I like moments like that just spur the moment.
And then I saw you. I had no idea, Eric, that you could even play bass. And then I saw a clip
Oh yeah.
of you not only playing bass but killing it on "Let's Work," the Prince track.
Ha ha ha, yeah, man. Actually, bass was something that I got into before guitar. So, and drums as well. So, like all of those things, I have had a very in-depth relationship with throughout my years in the industry. It's just the world really don't know about those interactions. Just because of how much the guitar has taken. I don't know what happened, but I was saying if I could do a drum gig, I'd go do it. If I could just do a bass gig, I'd go do it. I like them. So I like them. I like particularly drums, bass, guitar, a little bit of keys, but drums and bass is really cool to me.
How much have you played those on your records?
Quite a bit. Quite a bit. The first two records, 91 and 93, that was me on bass guitar. On this last record, 2 records ago, middle of the road, that's me playing bass guitar on the whole record. So it has happened a few times. And on bookends, it's 1 or 2 songs that I'm playing bass on, and
Well, talking about, you mentioned the 91 record. Man, what was it like when you got that deal and you're a teenager and you're on shows like Arsenio and living the life? And I know you had some tough times after that, but what was it like? How excited were you?
I mean, it was awesome, man. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, it just to put it in short, it was awesome. It was exciting. I mean, I don't think anybody that would be asked that question would be able to give you an answer less than it was just amazing to be placed in the opportunity to be able to uh, kind of all in one breath find out what it is that you possibly gonna do for the rest of your life at an early age, and record deals, touring, and doing what you love to do. It was awesome. It was awesome. Simple.
And at that time, it was an interesting time in music because it was not too long after we lost Stevie Ray, and grunge was kicking up, so rock was coming back a little bit. And there was like this emergence of some great young guitar players. I had you in like the same group as like Kenny Wayne Shepherd and Johnny Lang and you guys were all like teens and came with the blues guitar, and you guys were all awesome. And
Hmm.
that was an exciting time to see kind of out of Stevie Ray's ashes that this still came a new wave.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, man. It had some really amazing co-arts that were doing their thing, man, and it was great to see. Some young guns. Coming on up and flourishing in the world, and I think out of us all, you wouldn't get an argument out of us that Stevie was a huge part of that. But even uh, before him, we were acquiring Stevie Ray, but along with him, we were acquiring people that Stevie Ray was influenced by. So, that is how evolution should be. The people that are being inspired by what I do, or finding something attractive to them by what I do, they're not only acquiring me, they're acquiring the people that I'm influenced by. So that's how I think it should be.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mentioned Stevie Ray in particular because not only was he so great, but just at that time in music, he was really bucking the trend of what, was mostly happening in the
Man,
industry. So,
he
yeah.
was. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So, you much documented the rough times you had in the later 90s, and you came back, though, with a flourish. I mean, when you came back, Eric, it was so exciting, and it was so just joyous that you came back like you did, and you came back with a vengeance. I mean, you put
Oh
out
yeah,
boom, 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 man. It's like you were storing all this up, and it just came
yeah.
exploding out of you.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, man. It's time to hop back on it because it was a while that I wasn't doing nothing, but contributing to my demise, and again, I'm glad that I didn't succumb to that, and I had an opportunity to get myself back right again, and even though it took a while, the point being that I still hung in there, and now the fight is good, and nonetheless it's still a fight, but the fight is good, and going forward, and stuff. I still got stuff that's yet to come out, and you know, and hopefully before I leave this world, I have a whole lot more other things that the world can see. But it was great to have a second
You dropped out on my end. I'm going to kind of keep talking. I hope you can hear me right now. But when you came back with
chance
Crystal,
to.
can you hear me, Eric?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
So yeah, when you came back with Crystal Vision as the first one, I think I was floored. It was just I thought you had moved beyond where you ever were, and that whole
Uh-huh.
run of like 5 or so albums in a row were just
Yeah.
killer. Were just killer.
Yeah, thank you, man.
I actually wanted to just run down, while I have you, 10 of my all-time favorite tracks. And if you have any
Okay.
particular thoughts about those, feel free to share. But I want to make sure that viewers and listeners check these out. Um,
Okay.
and this goes all the way back to beginning with Sign of the Storm and your cover of Fight the Power, which I think, didn't you do that again
Mm.
with fDeluxe too?
I don't remember. May have. I don't recall. But I do vividly remember off the Gales brothers though, Fight the Power with my brothers. It
Yeah.
was interesting take on that song.
Retribution,
Yes, sir. Good track.
Trouble, which I think
Retribution.
is among
Very.
your funkiest tracks.
It's pretty funky. Yeah, it is pretty funky. I agree.
The Liar, and I love that clip
Oh,
on YouTube where it shows you laying down that solo. Man,
yeah, in the studio. Yeah, yeah. I like it.
The Spice, which is on the same record, I think.
Absolutely. Same record. You're right. You're right.
Railroaded.
Oh man. Ooh. It's some truth in that story there, boy. I tell you. But yes, that's good raunchy, grungy blues right there. Real good power blues.
Good for Something, the title
Oh yeah,
track.
I love that song, man. I wish it had gotten to the ears of more people than it did. I may re-release that album, man, later down the road, or just that song. Good for Something is a hit to me. That's a hit to me. That's a hit.
Absolutely, yeah. I've Been Deceived.
Been Deceived is to me. It's dude. There's truth in all of this stuff, And was speaking about myself, I was speaking about myself. Not well. I had been deceived too, but I was also doing the deceiving, oftentimes. But yeah, man, you naming some taking me down memory lane.
And rounding out that 10 is What You Gonna Do.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Interesting enough, actually, we got it in the set that we the new live show, and I got a twist on how I'm doing it. But yeah, what you gonna do? That is a cute story. That's about me and my wife there. What you gonna do? Or generally just a relationship. Not you got the person that you want.
So I look at
Very applicable.
I look at your career. I'm sorry I stepped on you because you cut out for a
You know
moment.
what?
But
No worries.
I look at your career. I don't know if you do too, but I mean, we're celebrating 30 years of your debut this year.
30 years. It's 30 years, man. It is 30 years, man. And well, I'm just saying, if you would have told me that 30 years later, been, talking about the first album, I'm like, man, this is no way possible. But I got to say that it's pretty gratifying to be able to look back and say, 30 years ago, this is what was happening. And it's also even more gratifying to say that 30 years later, I'm still doing what what I'm saying. I saw a few things, and things have happened to me in life that didn't take me out, and I'm still here with the fact remaining that there are several people that I have known, in these 30 years that are not here anymore, and I still got a chance to, try to make today a little better than yesterday, and I keep doing that, and live to fight another day.
Well, congratulations on the 30 years. And
Thank you.
in what ways would you say, Eric, that you're different as a player today than you were then?
More experience, man. Just more things to play about. That's it. Just what life, the things that I've been through in life personally, I think has propelled the escalation of the emotion and the explosion and burst of passion and all that stuff is plays a key part in all of it.
I look at it in like three stages. You had that beginning stage with those first few records, and then you had your sort of intermediate stage where you came back with, Crystal, Vision, and all those, and then your more current phase where you've done, bookends and those couple before it, and the new one that's coming. Do you feel that way too? Like it's sort of like these three chapters?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the chapters are still going, so stay tuned.
What can you
Stay
tell? Can you
tuned.
give us any hints into the record that'll be coming? And what was it like working with Joe?
Joe is a good friend of mine, and I can tell you that, man, I just have no words. That's the best that I can give you as an explanation. I have no words. I got very serious, deep things that I'm saying, and the song and content and the singing and everything is top notch, and the people involved, Kev Moe, Tom Hainbridge, James House, LaDonna, Joe, Josh Smith. It's just amazing, and we're looking for it to come out the top of 2022. So we got a little time, and I can just say it is airing up to be, I think, the best thing that I've ever done in my life. So wait for it.
I've been waiting, and since I first heard, and actually when I first saw you and Joe in that clip doing the sort of duel during the cruise,
Hmm. Yeah,
you know,
yeah, man.
yeah, he's another guy who just seems to tirelessly work and produce music.
Oh yeah, it's the only way, man. We was actually just talking about that earlier today. It's the only way. It's like this is what we thrive on, me and him. So that's what we're gonna keep doing, and you know, the rest of this year and definitely next year are gonna yield some very, 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 very huge, big announcements and some big things that I don't know if the world's quite ready for, but it's coming.
And while I'm talking about
Oh
your
yeah, it's coming.
collaborations, Eric, I had Keith LeBlanc on this show, and
Oh yeah,
he mentioned touring and playing with you as one of the highlights of his whole career.
yeah, man. We had a great time. Me, him, and T.M. Stevens. That was some good touring, boy. I tell you, we had a great time. It was awesome. It was amazing. Yeah, Keith's a good friend of mine.
What's your take on some of the newer guitar heroes, if you will, that have come up sort of in a blues contemporary mode, like your Gary Clark or your Chris Stone, Kingfish, and those guys?
All of them are friends of mine, man, and I think they're all amazing. I'm very impressed. I'm inspired, and that's just, I guess that's enough said. I'm inspired, man, and I can't wait till we all get back out there and do our thing.
That'd be a heck of a show if they get the three of you guys all in one bill. I'll tell you that.
Hey, man, watch out. It might be being worked up as we speak.
Has there been anyone that you've met, Eric, during your career where you were just starstruck and sort of a little speechless?
Initially, Eric Johnson, I was that way with him, but as it turns, he's one of my best friends nowadays. So he's been one of my best friends for many years now. But I would say him, man. There's a lot of them out there, and a lot of them I can't remember off the top of my head, and I probably remember when I get off the phone with you. But I've had respectable, very memorable interactions with a lot of people out there that I just cherish the encounters, and they've all been great.
Can you identify 3 or 5 albums that you would recommend to a guitar player who wants to play in the mold of an Eric Gales that they should definitely listen to and absorb?
Uh, Eric Johnson tones. Uh, um, Man, that's kind of difficult. That's kind of difficult. A mold of it's kind of difficult, man. It's a bunch of them out there, man. And so many different styles, man. You could go from Eric Johnson to Robin Trower to Frank Marino to Wes Montgomery to Chet Atkins to Roy Clark to Albert Lee to Joe Pass to Herb Ellis, Kenny Burrell, Albert King, Muddy Waters, B.B. King, John Lee Hooker, Freddie King. It's Derek Trucks, Robert Randolph, Joe Bonamassa, Kingfish, Doyle Bramhall, Gary Clark, all of them. That's why I'm like, the list is way too long, man.
So it sounds like it'd be just about impossible for you to have your own desert island list.
I mean, it'd be virtually impossible, man. Impossible.
What are you most proud of accomplishing in your career?
Just getting clean, man. I'm just tell you that much. Because if I wouldn't did that, there wouldn't be nothing happening right now. So basically, that just taking a control of my life again. That's the most proud I am. And yeah, that's all I got for that.
Yeah, and
Getting my life back.
you still talk about it on stage, and it's so cathartic for you, I'm sure.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Just getting my life back. That's it, man. That's it.
It must be incredibly gratifying, Eric, the way you've worked and built your fan base up. I mean, I've seen it happen over the years. How you came back and you've just built it piece by piece back up to have this tremendous following and this great respect among your peers, with fans. That must be so gratifying to have done that.
It is. It is. I mean, I don't have much to say behind that, but it is.
This is great. This is what it's like for an afternoon hanging out with Eric Gales.
Yeah, man.
I was really surprised to hear that you're into trap music.
I like it all, bro. I like everything. I like everything. Everything. I mean, generally, on a regular basis, that's what I got playing in my car. So I just like it.
Yeah,
So,
part of that, those
yeah.
Memphis roots, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any a tip or two for somebody who wants to play in your style?
Yeah, just follow the course, man. Just follow the course. Learn everything. Learn everything. That's all I can say. Learn everything. That's it'll come to be very useful later on in life. Let's learn everything and just follow your passion. Follow your passion.
Which of all your albums are you most proud of or look at as like the greatest accomplishment you've done?
I don't have a single one. All of them are close to me, so I don't have a single one. If I had one, it would probably be Relentless.
Why do you think that
Very,
might
very,
be?
very strong record. Very strong record to me. Very, very strong record.
That happens to be the only
From
one of
beginning
yours
to
that
end.
I have
There you go.
signed by you.
There you go. There you go. Yep.
Bad Lawbreaker, awesome. Block the Sun is a really cool track, yeah. Ambitious, and the Liars on there, of course, the Spice, like I mentioned. So, yeah, that's a phenomenal
You got
record.
wings. You got Wings of Rock and Roll. Make It There. Universal Peace Pipe. All that's on there. That's a very memorable record to me.
Definitely. All right. Well, I know you're tired. I really appreciate your time. It's so great to connect with you. I can't wait to see you out
Thank
on the
you,
road
man.
again.
Hey, man, it should be soon. Way it looks.
That's real good news, and hopefully just better fortunes overall for the Gales family and all your fans and followers.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
You take good care. And how can everyone best keep up with what's going on with Eric Gales?
EricGales.com, at Eric Gales on Twitter, hashtag Eric Gales, Instagram, uh, and Eric Gales on Facebook. A few fan page, Eric Gales fan page, Eric Gales Nation. Um, all of those are part of me. So, um, yeah, that's the best way.
Beautiful. And I want to thank LaDonna, too, for helping this happen. So respect and
Oh
thanks
yeah,
to her,
of
too.
course.
All
I
right.
will. I will tell her. Thank you, man.
All right. Good health, man. Take care.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Truth in Rhythm. A big thank you goes out to our guest as well as to you, the viewer and listener. Also, much gratitude to Pleasure for supplying the show's funky opening and closing music. As a reminder, you can always access the complete list of linked shows by episode at funkandstuff.net. I urge you to support this program and receive the extra benefits along with that by subscribing to the Funk and Stuff channel on YouTube and sharing it with funk, R&B, and jazz lovers, joining Truth and Rhythm's membership program at Patreon, submitting a donation at funkandstuff.net, buying Everything is on the One, the First Guide to Funk book at Amazon, shopping at the Funky Things store for cool merchandise at funkandstuff.net, and linking through funkandstuff.net for all of your Amazon purchases. In addition, if you're an artist or anyone seeking proven, results-oriented professional marketing, PR, writing, or editing consultation or production, check out the media services section at funkandstuff.net. Also, I encourage you to drop me a line at scottg@funkandstuff.net. I love the feedback, suggestions, guest requests, appearance and sponsorship inquiries, and just talking about my favorite subject, groove-based music. For now, and as always, this is Scott Dr. GX Goldfine saying, keep on vibing to the rhythm of the one.